Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee, and welcome to this video. Thank you for dropping by. This is the card I have to share with you today. Isn't it pretty? It's this lovely floral card. It's a two-step stamping card, and it's just a simple birthday one. And this is another one we made at our in-person card club that I host in Lincoln in the UK. So if you're in the Lincoln area and you want to come, then just do check out the details on my website. Okay, so let's start with some stamping. I've cut out a panel here from Basic White, and this is cut out using the Scalloped Contours die set, and I've used the second largest die, and then I've actually cut out two more panels using the largest die. One's in Highland Heather and one's again in Basic White, and we're going to use those a bit later. So let's bring in all our bits. This is the stamp set. It's colour and contour. It matches the die set, and we're going to be using this floral, and we're going to use this to fill in our colour, and we're going to do a little bit of splashes with that. So I'm going to stamp our outline here in Memento Tuxedo Black. So just ink up our image, and then just going to bring this a bit closer to me, keep everything as straight as possible, and I'm just going to go down, hold. It's a sketchy stamp set, so don't worry about everything not being absolutely perfect. It's not meant to be. There we go. So let's clean this up quickly so we can take this off our block, and just to use a simple chamois to do that. Okay, and put this away, and then we're going to take out the piece that we're going to use to fill it. And now I'm just going to, you'll see on your piece here, you've got the tiny little piece at the top here. I don't know if how well you can see it on the camera, and that's going to be that. So if you find that, it's really easy to line up. As I said, it's a very sketchy stamp set, so things are not going to line up absolutely perfectly. They're not meant to. It's meant to be a sketchy effect. So I'm going to stamp now in some gorgeous grey pink. Just going to give myself a little bit of space. You know how it is. Very quickly you seem to get closed in, however hard you try. So line this up, just get your head right in over the stamp. Sorry if my head's in the camera. That's the only way to do it. And there you go. There's your piece. As I said, it's meant to be sketchy like that. So just clean up my block. I've got ink everywhere as usual. Okay, I'm going to put this back, and then I'm going to take this piece out, but I think this block is too big, so let's look for a smaller block. This one will do. And we're going to just do a little bit of stamping, just some splatters. That will do perfectly fine. So set that aside to dry, and we're going to bring in a scrap here of Basic White. I'm going to use this stamp set called Waves of Inspiration. I'm just going to use the sentiment here that says Happy Birthday, and I'm going to stamp this up again in gorgeous grey pink. I'm just going to stamp it down, hold. There we go, Happy Birthday. Lovely. So close that up, set that aside to dry for a second, and let's start to build our card. So our card base here is Gorgeous Grape. It's a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. Now I've got this piece, as I said, I cut from the largest die in the Scallops and Contour die set, and we're going to just use this quickly to make an insert. It's going to be a pretty insert, so let's get some glue on that. And then, oops, I'm just going to stick this in the centre like that. Isn't that pretty? I love the contrast between the dark gorgeous grape and the light and the whites rather. Then I've got another piece exactly the same die, and this is in Highland Heather, which is just a bit lighter than the gorgeous grape. Okay, and we're going to stick this just on the front like that. Just check if I've done it right. Yes, I have. Isn't that nice? So now we're going to stick our stamped piece to the front of our card, and you can see here my Tombow is giving me grief. It's just got a little bit clogged, so if you just take a tissue, wipe the tip, as you can see me doing here, and then it should be fine to go again. And there we go. And I do like the Tombow because, as I said many a time, it gives me that lovely little bit of wriggle room so that I can try and get things as straight as possible. So there we're going to stick a lovely little stamp panel just onto the front of our card, just like that. Isn't that pretty? So cute. So let's put the Tombow away before we have any other problems. Set that aside, and now we're just going to cut out our sentiment. And as you know, I do this freehand with my trimmer. This can seem scary the first time you do this, but the more times you do this, the better you get at it. Like anything in life, practice does make perfect. So just keep on going, and it's really freeing not to have to measure every single thing that you do when you make a card. Just to be able to just stick it in the trimmer and cut it down as you want. And just one last little bit here. Sometimes you can faff a bit too much. You need to know when to stop. Obviously I don't here because I want a tiny bit off the top. There we go. And that's enough. Any more trimming and we'll be cutting our sentiment. So let's get rid of all of those pieces of scrap. And now we're ready to mat this on another piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to get a scrap here of Highland Heather cardstock. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my sentiment, and then I'm just going to glue it down to my base. And as you can see, my Tombow really is trying to fight me today. Not quite sure why it doesn't like me today, but it obviously doesn't. It wants to sleep instead of work. And I quite understand that. So there we go. Gonna put that down there on our piece of Highland Heather, and now I'm just going to use my scissors to cut this out. You've seen me do this a bazillion times. As I've said before, if you use the scissors with a longer blade, it makes cutting straight much easier than trying to cut straight with a smaller scissors. So just going to cut around this, and again, practice makes perfect. The more times you do this, the better you get at it. So it's a great skill to try and practice, because it makes life so much easier than trying to always have to measure everything. So now we're going to put a little bit of dimensionals on the back of this, and we're going to use our edges. I love our edges. Edges are good dimensionals, so don't waste them. They really are good. You don't want to waste any of that foamy goodness. So there we go, a lovely little edge on the back. You only have to put off one backing. It's a win-win situation. So let's take that and let's place this on the front of our card, just where we want it, so it looks nice and pretty. Isn't that a lovely birthday card? I'd be happy to receive that. No, got to get it straight. If you don't press down heavily on your sentiment, on your glue, you should be able to pull it up without too much hassle, and then be able to reposition it. You can see me just being very gentle with what I'm doing, and then I've been able to just reposition it, check my adhesives are all still in place, and then let's put this where we really want it to go, and now we can push it down. There we are. So now we're going to do some final finishing touches, and these are my loose silver sequins, and I'm just going to put these into a little triangle tray. I got this tray off the internet somewhere, I'm not sure where, and it's just great because you can just pour a little bit of the sequins into the tray, and then it's easier to find what you want, and because it is a triangle, it's much easier to then funnel them back into your little tray. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow and put a few dots here and there where I'm going to want my sequins. Try not to get the blue to splodge out, because we wouldn't want that to happen. And when you don't know where to put another sequin, it's a good sign to stop. And you can see me arming and ahhing where I should put another dot of glue, because I like to put things, if possible, in uneven numbers. I think it just looks better on the eye. So there we've got our little bit of glue down, and now we're just going to use our take your pick tool, and we're going to use here the sticky end, and we're just going to use this to sort through our sequins and then place them on the card. And as I said, these are the loose silver sequins, so some of them actually are silver, some of them are clear, some of them are more iridescent. There's a lovely mixture of sizes and shapes and colours in this little collection. And you can see here me struggling away, but we'll get there in the end, hopefully. So now we're just going to funnel the sequins back into our little tray here. As you can see, we're just going to funnel them in. It makes it very easy. And then we'll just put those away, and then we've finished our cards. So here we have our 2 cards. I hope you liked them. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know. And don't forget to subscribe to future videos. Thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye!